Bring you in on this is a miserable Thursday, weather-wise. I mean, this is just brutal. We're playing the Chargers for obvious reason because one of the big disasters has taken place. We'll get more on that in a moment. Normally, Hatchet would be singing and playing his bass, but not today. He loves this song. He loves what it brings to the table. David, no zest. We've just gotten the throat slash sign. It's over. All right, so We bring in Terry because Terry has a hot take for you, and I want him to lead on this. But the Chargers have exercised their option to leave San Diego. The game of chicken is over. A fan base that supported its mediocre team for 56 years loses the team. And now the Chargers go to a place that doesn't necessarily want them in one of the most bizarre situations in the history of the league. They will be the tenant in Stan Kroenke's $2.6 billion playpen out at the former site of Hollywood Park. Terry, you believe the people of San Diego are better off or took a stand? I want to give you a chance to bloviate to begin the show.
The Chargers stuck a gun at Chargers fans' heads. And Charger fans said, go ahead, leave. We don't care. We would not do that here. You know, if you want to say they're, playing Russian roulette or they are, holding the fans hostage, you're absolutely correct. San Diego did something we cannot do. Detroit, we have to have our 4 sports teams. If the Lions or the Wings or the Tigers, and I'm not so sure about the Pistons. Maybe the Pistons, that's a thing we tell them to go to hell. But if the other teams said it's either us or we're going to want some money out of your pocket, what's it going to be? And we'll say, go ahead, just reach into our pocket. We'll hook you up. So San Diego did something that Detroit is not able to do because we love our sports teams more than they love theirs. We're more passionate about sports, and maybe we're more foolish than they are in San Diego. So what happened in San Diego will never happen. Now, are they better off? Yeah, they probably are. Because if a team doesn't want to be in your community, the hell with them. Let them go. That's basically what they're saying. But there's this divide or this back and forth, civic pride by having a team versus this team trying to kill us or trying to, steal from us or hold us hostage or whatever. What's it worth? I think in this community, Detroit, it's worth the money or the embarrassment or whatever, just to make sure you hang on to all 4 sports teams. We are not willing to do what San Diego did. And I don't care if it's the Lions, because I know people are mad at the Lions now. Even if it was the Lions, and especially if it was the Lions, you wouldn't do it. What do we have to do to keep this team? So does that make us goofy? Or is that just the Midwest mentality?
Well, there's a couple of things. 248-539-9797. I'd like to know from you, the people, whether San Diego and its people should be praised or honestly, if they should be panned. I mean, I do think that loyalty to sports teams, it's a geographical thing. It resides, generally speaking, to the misery of winter. The biggest and best sports towns, I think there's a big 5 in America. It's New York, it's Boston, it's Philly, it's Chicago, and it's here in Detroit. Those are your sports meccas. What do all 5 of those cities have in common? We all hate our lives about 7 months a year because of winter. Sports becomes our escape. In places like San Diego, it's 72 and sunny 365 days a year.
You go boating anytime.
I got better things to do, and I can do those things cheaper than going to see an NFL game. Now, San Diego had a fan base that the Spanos family took advantage of by not providing a good product. But what this was San Diego saying, we're not paying for your stadium. And the NFL offered Spanos $300 million towards building a new stadium. Can you imagine someone funding you basically 25% of the cost? You figure if San Diego built $1 billion stadium, you were getting about 30% of the cost handed to you by fellow owners. He said no to that.
Hey, do you know what we do when we go to the mall and it says 30% off? We buy it. Doesn't matter what it is, we buy it. If you're going to take 30% off of a stadium, the owner says, I'm buying it. I'm there. Thank you.
Spanos instead chose to pay $650 million of his own money to relocate, to be a tenant in Stan Kroenke's building. This, mark my words, this will be an absolute disaster. This will be one of the low points in NFL history. I think you have seen the stadium crisis. The bubble has burst. This idea that each community now deserves or should fund billion-dollar stadiums, it's over. L.A. didn't need a team. Stan Kroenke simply wanted to build a real estate development of all the land he bought out by LAX airport. And as a part of that, he decided to stuff a football team in there. But L.A. didn't need an NFL team. They didn't want an NFL team. Now they've got two of them. So I'm just asking you whether you salute what San Diego has done and whether, honest to God, let's say the Lions came to you 10 years from now and demanded $500 million from the city of Detroit to build Ford Field 2.0. Do you buy what Terry's saying that there's no way you'd be able to say no?